Did you know that 85% of readers abandon books before finishing them? That's right. Most stories fail to grab attention from the start and lose their readers. But what if you could write a story that hooks them from the first page, and keeps them coming back for more? In this guide, we're diving into the world of fantasy storytelling, where powerful tropes like the reluctant hero and the ancient evil can make or break your tale. You've seen them 1,000 times, but how can you make them fresh and exciting? That's exactly what we're here to explore. Over the next few chapters, we'll uncover hidden strategies to turn the most familiar fantasy tropes into unforgettable plot twists. Whether you're writing your first story or you're a seasoned pro, these tips will help you stand out and keep readers hooked. Ready to transform your storytelling? Let's unlock the secrets together. Keep reading to discover how the chosen one might not be who you think, how to break the mold of the magical mentor, and how to turn the ancient evil into something completely unexpected. This isn't just about following rules, it's about rewriting them. Chapter 1, The Reluctant Hero. Embrace the chaos. Every great fantasy story begins with a reluctant hero, but how do you break away from cliches? The reluctant hero is often portrayed as unsure and hesitant, but to make your character truly stand out, introduce an internal struggle that runs deeper. Rather than just avoiding heroism, have your character actively resist their fate. Think of Frodo Baggins in The Lord of the Rings. He's not just reluctant because of fear, but because of a moral conflict about the importance of the quest. To make this trope fresh, give your hero a unique flaw. Maybe they have an irrational fear or an emotional scar that holds them back. By the end of the story, their arc should reflect an understanding that heroism isn't about perfect courage, but about facing fear head-on. For example, Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games isn't a reluctant hero out of cowardice but out of a desire to protect those she loves. Her journey shows how fear and love are intertwined. Consider the psychology behind reluctance. Research shows that people often feel reluctance due to a lack of control over their future. Source: Psychology Today. This is something your hero could relate to, making their eventual decision to embrace the challenge all the more powerful. Heroic arcs that involve this kind of growth resonate because they are deeply human. Another way to handle the reluctant hero is by introducing external pressures that force them into action. In Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Harry is pushed into his journey not by personal choice, but by the relentless pursuit of dark forces. This makes his growth feel more organic and his actions more impactful. So, when creating your reluctant hero, think about their internal and external obstacles. Let them grow not just by defeating enemies, but by confronting themselves. The more complex the reluctance, the more rewarding the eventual transformation. Chapter 2, The Chosen One. Twist the prophecy. The chosen one trope has been done to death, but with a twist, it can still be powerful. What if the prophecy isn't what it seems? Instead of the hero being the one to save the world, what if they're the one to destroy it? In The Matrix, Neo is the one, but his role isn't as simple as saving humanity. It's about understanding the nature of the world itself. A good twist is to present the prophecy as something flawed. In The Hero's Journey, Joseph Campbell discusses how myths often center around prophecies that mislead, confuse, or harm the hero. This opens up a deeper layer of storytelling. Your protagonist doesn't just fight evil, they fight the system that created the prophecy. Another unique idea is making the prophecy a burden that only grows heavier as the hero gets closer to fulfilling it. It's no longer a beacon of hope, but a source of torment. In The Dark Knight, Bruce Wayne doesn't want to be a symbol of hope for Gotham, but the city demands it of him. One interesting fact is that the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan plays with the chosen one trope by introducing not one, but several characters who could fulfill the prophecy, making the reader question who the real hero is. This leads to a more complex and nuanced narrative that subverts expectations. In your story, the chosen one doesn't need to be the hero everyone expects. They could be someone deeply flawed or even someone who initially rejects their role. Sometimes, the greatest twist is realizing the prophecy might have been wrong all along. What if your hero learns the world is better off without them? Chapter 3, The Magical Mentor. Betrayal in the Arcane. The magical mentor is often a symbol of wisdom and guidance, but how do you make this relationship more interesting? One strategy is to let the mentor's past come back to haunt them. What if they have dark secrets that could harm the hero? In Harry Potter, Dumbledore's secrets are eventually revealed to be both a strength and a curse. A mentor doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, the best mentors are those with flaws and hidden agendas. Take The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. The mentor, Lord Asriel, may seem noble, but his ultimate motivations create a moral dilemma for the protagonist, Lyra. The tension between loyalty and truth makes the mentor-student relationship much richer. One interesting narrative twist is to make the mentor a former villain or someone who has changed allegiances. In Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi teaches Luke Skywalker, but the legacy of the Sith looms over him, creating a more complicated mentor figure. This builds suspense because the mentor isn't just a source of wisdom but someone who may still have unresolved issues with their past. Research in Storytelling, Source. The Writer's Digest, suggests that flawed mentors are often more relatable to the audience. A mentor's mistakes humanize them and allow the protagonist to grow not just through their wisdom, but by learning from their mentor's errors. This creates a dynamic, evolving relationship that isn't static. In the Chronicles of Narnia, Aslan, though a powerful figure, isn't the typical mentor. His mysterious nature and occasional cryptic guidance leave the heroes to interpret their own lessons. Mentors like this one challenge the protagonists to think critically rather than passively follow advice. So, instead of a mentor who is all-knowing and perfect, why not introduce complexity? Let them have a past that might influence the hero's journey in unexpected ways. By introducing betrayal or ambiguity in their teachings, you're adding layers to the story that engage your audience on a deeper level. If you're finding these tips helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more strategies on transforming your storytelling. Chapter 4, The Ancient Evil, Unleash the Forgotten Power. The Ancient Evil is a classic fantasy trope, but how can you make it stand out in a sea of dark forces? Instead of making the ancient evil an unstoppable force of nature, consider giving it a more complex origin. Maybe it was once a force for good, only to be corrupted over time. In The Lord of the Rings, Sauron is a Dark Lord whose history stretches back thousands of years, but his fall from grace is just as important as his reign of terror. A great way to use this trope is to explore the idea that the ancient evil is not inherently evil, it's a product of circumstances, mistakes, or misjudgments. This adds depth to the antagonist. In Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, the ancient evil is a godlike figure who once sought to protect the world but became a tyrant after centuries of ruling. This makes the villain's motivations more relatable, even if their actions are unforgivable. When crafting your ancient evil, try to make it tied to the world's history or mythology. This adds a sense of depth and realism, as if the world itself is haunted by the shadow of this dark past. The evil force should feel as though it's been simmering beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to re-emerge. In The Wheel of Time, the Dark One's influence spreads throughout history, affecting even the smallest choices and shaping the world into what it has become. Consider making the ancient evil a mirror of your protagonist's struggle. In The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, Kavorta's own past haunts him, and the idea of a personal, internal evil resonates with readers. Maybe the evil isn't just a villain, it's something that has a direct connection to the hero, even in ways they don't fully understand. Another approach is to present the ancient evil as a misunderstood entity that's been demonized over time. In the Broken Earth series by N.K. Jemisin, the so-called evil is often a result of ignorance and fear, and the true nature of the antagonist comes from how it interacts with the world. The evil becomes a tragic figure, making readers question the morality of the characters they root for. One effective strategy is to make the ancient evil a cyclical force, something that returns over and over again, but in different forms. In the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, the evil is not static, and it evolves over time. This type of evil isn't just a looming threat, it's a repeating cycle that characters must break free from. Chapter 5, The Hidden Kingdom, Unveil a Lost World. The Hidden Kingdom trope is a fascinating one, but how do you make it more than just a hidden treasure? To make the lost world feel truly alive, give it a rich culture and history that has been forgotten over time. The people who live there aren't just surviving, they have their own customs, rules, and problems. In The Hobbit, Smaug's treasure is hidden in the Lonely Mountain, but it's the world of the dwarves, elves, and men that gives depth to the story. A great way to build a hidden kingdom is to have it hold knowledge or technology that the world has lost. Think about how in The Princess Bride, the characters travel to a distant land filled with ancient wonders, many of which are only myths in the outside world. The Hidden Kingdom can offer answers to questions the protagonist doesn't even know they're asking. One interesting way to use this trope is to make the Hidden Kingdom a place that actively hides itself from the world. In the Chronicles of Narnia, the magical land is hidden behind a wardrobe, but what if your Hidden Kingdom can hide in plain sight, using illusion or magic to disguise its presence? This adds mystery and intrigue to the setting, keeping readers curious. But the Hidden Kingdom shouldn't just be a setting, it should challenge the protagonist's beliefs or goals. In The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, the hidden city of Daevabad is filled with political intrigue and conflict. The protagonist learns that discovering the lost world isn't just about finding treasure, it's about uncovering truths that have been buried for a reason. One unique strategy for this trope is to make the Hidden Kingdom a place of moral ambiguity. Instead of the kingdom being a perfect, untouched utopia, make it a place where nothing is as it seems. In The City of Mirrors by Justin Cronin, the hidden places reveal far darker secrets than the characters expect, and that can make the world feel more complex and intriguing. You can also use the kingdom as a metaphor for self-discovery. In The Never-Ending Story, the Kingdom of Fantastica reflects the growth of the protagonist. As they explore, they uncover more about themselves and their purpose in life. This approach gives the trope emotional depth. Chapter 6, The Loyal Companion. Break the bond. The loyal companion is a staple in fantasy, but what if loyalty itself is tested? A loyal companion doesn't always have to stay loyal. One great way to handle this is by introducing conflicts that make the companion question their loyalty. In The Wheel of Time, characters like Per and Eobara experience moments where loyalty is tested, especially when it conflicts with personal growth or the greater good. One interesting way to twist the loyal companion trope is by having them grow more powerful than the protagonist, creating a shift in the power dynamic. In The Dark Knight, Batman relies on his allies, but characters like Robin or Alfred often face their own moral dilemmas. In some stories, the companion's loyalty becomes strained when their strength grows, challenging their role in the group. The relationship between the protagonist and the companion doesn't have to remain constant throughout the story. In The Hunger Games, Katniss Everdeen's relationship with her allies fluctuates. The moment when loyalty is betrayed or questioned can create emotional depth. This conflict creates tension and allows both characters to grow. Sometimes, the loyal companion's true agenda might be to lead the protagonist into danger. In The Fellowship of the Ring, Boromir's well-meaning loyalty ultimately leads to betrayal. This creates a sense of tragedy and heartbreak, especially when the companion's motivations come from a place of love or fear, not malice. It's important to note that loyalty doesn't have to be an all-or-nothing thing. A companion can still be loyal while making difficult decisions. The key is to show how loyalty isn't always black and white. It can be fluid, evolving based on circumstances. This creates a more realistic and dynamic relationship. In your story, don't be afraid to shake up the loyalty dynamic. Characters evolve, and so should their relationships. Readers will appreciate the authenticity of a companion who isn't just a sidekick, but a character with their own strengths, weaknesses, and complex motivations. Want more tips on transforming your writing? Subscribe for more insights and strategies to help you create captivating fantasy tales that keep your readers hooked until the very end.